Alan and I gave our review. We even dropped a spoiler video on Sunday night. I want to hear what the panel thinks. Weigh in. Tell us your thoughts on Lanterns, and we'll get into specific topics. And we will talk spoilers for episode 1. Go. Let's start at the top with Badger, and we'll go around. Everybody, I want to hear your thoughts.
It's exactly what I thought I was going to get. I read all the leaks. We all saw the leaks. We've heard what Damon Lindelof and Tom King have all said. It was exactly what I was expecting. At the end of the day, this may turn out to be an okay HBO show, but it's a fucking horrible Green Lantern show.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, obligatory. It's the first episode. We have fucking 8 more, 7. I get it.
Okay, Steph, what do you think?
I mean, with it being the first episode, that's supposed to, launch the Green Lanterns and get you excited about it. And I just wasn't. I was very bored. The fact that, Hal is disrespected by pretty much everybody that he meets is really frustrating. I didn't like the characters. And it's fresh on my mind because I just finished watching it. So the leaks were true. And it's incredibly disappointing. I was very willing to give this show a chance. And I was bored the entire time.
Okay. Dante.
Look, man, I went into this with an open mind. I know people don't think I do this, but I do. I go into everything with an open mind. And if I'm wrong, and you guys know this, I will say that I'm wrong about something. I feel justified in everything I thought about this show going in. Look, man, this wasn't Green Lantern at all. That was not Hal Jordan. That was not Jon Stewart. I don't even care about Jon Stewart banging the old lady at the bar. We've all been there. But
in a pinch,
speak for yourself.
I feel like okay.
But that wasn't the last call, Dante. That wasn't the last call.
I'm just saying.
Sober.
I could even forgive him for the vegan thing because that's some horse shit right there. But it just honestly, man, everything about it felt like they hate these heroes, man. They hate these characters. Yeah. What's weird to me, man, is we're watching a Green Lantern show. We're watching the pilot or the first episode of a Green Lantern show. And the one time we get the oath, it was done in sarcasm and condescension, right? By the other alien that he's interrogating. That's when we get the oath. I'm like, nothing about this. Look, it might get better. Like Badger said, I get it. First episode, it could get better. And maybe it's an okay HBO show. This is not Green Lantern to me. This is not Green Lantern at all, in any kind of way. And I hate the disrespect of Hal Jordan in this show.
Yeah. Elaine, what do you think?
Yeah, I have to say it broke, or it committed the most grave sin, which is that I was bored the entire time. It didn't make me care about any of the lead characters. And I even like this genre. I love mysteries, detectives. I like Meyer is one of my favorites, Justified, and I like several of the Sheridan verse ones. But I wanted to be sucked into a fantastical universe rather than such it's a murder mystery in a small town, but I've seen it done plenty and done in a far more compelling and intriguing fashion. And in trying to copy a different genre from top to bottom, it seemed they ignored what made this particular IP unique. So where the Penguin succeeded in being this crime boss drama, which perfectly suited its main protagonist, this show fails entirely. They want to do this crossover genre to appeal to an audience outside of that, but you still also have to embrace what makes the characters unique, what makes the IP unique in the first place. So there could be a good fusion of that. And there's just not. And the mystery at the end, I wish the show made me care enough to find out what the next episode is, because I don't care.
Brawler.
I think for me, the panel has a lot of history with Green Lantern. I really don't. I don't know much about the Green Lantern. I've always seen cool pictures of him. I've played him in video games. This was sort of my introduction to Green Lantern. And I thought, of any time to be fantastical and vivid and wild. I feel like with Green Lantern, that's a good avenue to push that a little bit. I feel like this just doesn't, to me, Badger, it just
Grounded,
doesn't feel
gritty,
like
realistic.
I don't know,
That's the
man.
best way.
No Grounded. I just, I love Grounded. I think there needs to be some levels of Grounded, but I just don't see how it affects and pertains to this topic of all things. And then also for me, we're all talking about how we miss our old heroes, right? And Dante, you just mentioned Jon Stewart, banging the old lady. It's like, how have we gotten to the point where it's like we're so acceptable of our heroes just having no moral virtue at all, right? I mean, 20 years ago, we would not be following any hero that would do something like that, especially to a married woman, without having any area of remorse, right? I mean,
he didn't
you
know,
don't. Well, I know, but he didn't care afterwards either. So I mean, I feel like there's levels to this hero stuff, and I feel like if I want to attach to Jon Stewart, that is not the best way to introduce him as a hero.
Nothing like eating off another man's grill. What the hell was that line? DA, I was watching you last night. Great stream last night, man.
Thanks, man.
What are your thoughts? Have you had time to kind of process? Or
Yeah, I mean, look, I said this because I recorded a video. I'm gonna put it up later. It's lanterns and names only. All right. It's just, it's really not Green Lantern. That's not Hal Jordan. That's not Jon Stewart. And the problem that I think these modern writers have is they want to take these characters that we know, and then they want to turn them into something that they're not. And they think that that's going to work. And we just got through seeing that with Supergirl, where they make Supergirl this drunk party girl that calls her cousin a bitch instead of looking up to him and saying, man, I want to be a hero just like my cousin. Instead of doing that, they want to turn her into this other character that nobody likes. And I think we're going to see the exact same thing with Jon Stewart and with Hal Jordan, because I don't understand, like, why would anybody like this version of Hal Jordan? I don't understand. Like, I would understand if maybe this was season 3 of Lanterns and we had seen everything he has gone through and he's now got, war weary and, all of that. But we haven't seen anything from this character other than he's just an asshole right off rip. He doesn't like Jon Stewart. We're not explained why. And yes, I understand this is the first episode and we're going to get some more backstory. But this is, like Brawler was saying, this is his introduction to Green Lantern. And this is the Hal Jordan you're giving him? I don't get it. I don't understand why they do this other than the fact that they just hate the characters. I think James Gunn doesn't like any of these characters. I don't think they care from Lindelof as well. Same thing with Tom King. They want to constantly turn the character into something else instead of giving us the positive, definitive hero that we all grew up loving and saying, now there's Hal Jordan. That's what I wanted out of this show. Give me Hal Jordan. They didn't give him to me, so I'm already halfway, 1 foot out the door.
Well, you might be all wrong, but because Rotten Tomatoes has it at 95%.
Yeah.
Wow.
Critic
perfect.
score 88% on the Popcorn Media audience. Robert Meyer Burnett, you just joined us.
Everyone loved it except Derek. So what do
you think?
I thought it was really interesting. The show, I thought it was a really interesting approach. I was surprised at how much of Green Lantern lore they actually got into, even though you don't see it. They talk like he says he's late to pick up Jon Stewart because he was stopping a civil war on an alien planet. I thought this interrogation scene with, I'm not going to say what it was, but the interrogation scene with the guy in the jail cell was really well handled, and it showed that Hal Jordan knows exactly what's going on. And it was really interesting watching the other two characters, the sheriff and Jon Stewart, who were dubious, to watch that whole sequence turn around. I thought that was really, really fun. And it's a different take. When I see something translated into a different environment, like it's a very different take than the Ryan Reynolds movie. And I halfway like the Ryan Reynolds movie. I like the stuff that wasn't stupid in that movie. I think that movie was at war with its own tone. But I thought all the Green Lantern stuff, like on Oa with the Guardians, the Parallax stuff was insanely stupid. But the other half was good. This was really, I would call this a Baroque version of Green Lantern. And I'm really curious to see where it goes. But I was intrigued. I found myself very intrigued by the presentation of all of this.
Well, I'll say this. I liked it more than what James Gunn is doing with his goofy nonsense.
Very, very much so. It's my favorite thing from DC Studios so far.
From the DC Studios, I think this is, at least it's something new and interesting. I'm not sure that it feels like season 4 of True Detective and not a Green Lantern show. So that's what it feels like to me. And plus, when this is over, when all 8 episodes have aired, it'll be 8 hours of Jon Stewart, and we've seen 2 hours of Superman. I kind of feel like where are the priorities with this universe? So, but
we're going to see Hal Jordan too.
Well, yeah, but and also we should actually get into it here.
I mean, he does say we talk about 14 different versions of shapeshifters that can completely mimic human beings, and we know the Manhunters are involved,
right?
Which is what the Green Lanterns were, the precursor to the Green Lanterns,
right? So the show ends. I'm sorry, spoilers, with what appears to be Hal Jordan's body sitting in the football field, which he was at 10 years ago. And is he dead? He's sitting there in the snow. His body is in the snow. There's no ring.
There's no ring. This guy Gardner has. The problem is that they've all already talked. So either we think they're all lying, in which case, why are we even debating it? Or we're going to take them at their word. Damon Lindelof, Tom King, and Kyle Chandler have all said he's fucking dead. And the whole mystery of the show is what happened to get him dead. And I know we all want to say, and he probably is, but also, boy, we thought that message from Clark's parents was going to turn out to be fake, huh? Real, and doubled down upon. So I see no reason why the same outcome wouldn't happen here. There's a reason we don't see Hal anywhere else after 2026
I said this on Friday, but if he's not dead, I'm done watching the show, because that is the worst switch you'd ever put into this, and I would be out at this point.
Well, it's not like something that hasn't been done in previous types of shows. Sort of the death,
but I don't want to see it again.
How many times has a death fake out happened in comics?
Exactly,
Off the top of your head.
Yeah. And exactly, that's why I don't want to see it here. And if it is, these writers just prove themselves to be idiots and morons.
Well,
so he just better be dead.
What is the show gonna be then? Because the best part of that first episode was the interplay between Hal and Jon Stewart. That was I thought that was really well done between the two of them. And frankly, I like Aaron Pierre as Jon Stewart. I think he's very good. I think Kyle Chandler is very good as well.
I can appreciate that we actually have a stoic masculine character for once, in James Gunn's DCU. I mean, what was the other guy, the other black guy in the Superman movie? He was great.
Mr. Terrific.
Yeah, so they got him right, and they also are giving this guy some competency, so we got that there. We don't have that with any of the other male characters yet, but I mean, not a bad start.
The problem is that this show feels like a very stupid version of Men in Black. Okay, no, think about it. This is what we're getting. This is Men in Black, what we're watching right now. And I look, I get it, man. You want to do something different, and also you're doing a TV show based on Green Lantern. I know how expensive it could be, right? I mean, if they did the whole alien planets and outer space stuff, it would be very expensive to do an 8-episode show with their budget. Still, though, there's what we're getting. This isn't. I feel like what we're getting isn't something clever or new. This is like rehash shit that we've seen already.
Yeah,
like this isn't something groundbreaking.
No.
I don't think John is competent at all. I think he's incredibly arrogant, and especially like the way he talks to Hal. I don't think he's competent. I think he thinks he knows what's best, and he doesn't really take his lead from Hal. And that's played from the very beginning, like right from when you are introduced to him. You can tell he doesn't care about him. Even when he's telling him, Hal is telling him the story of how he got the ring, John's looking at him like, ugh, I'd rather be anywhere else. I think he's really stupid. I think he's very arrogant, and that's shown by him having sex with that lady. Hal tells him don't join the fight. He's like, I won't. It's a stupid idea. I mean, he says that it's a stupid idea over and over and over again. It's stupid. I told him he was stupid. I know it was really stupid. And then the moment that this lady, this old grandma, shows a little bit of interest in him and asks him about himself, he basically spills his gut, tells her everything. He doesn't know this woman. He doesn't care about this woman. And yet he tells her everything and then goes and has sex with her in the truck. I don't find him competent at all. I don't find him masculine at all. And I mean, honestly, the fact that he ate tofu over a steak really rubbed me the wrong way, but that's just because I'm from Texas.
How long has he been? My memory on the way that the ring transfers from one person to the next, because
the ring
Hal tells
chooses
the story, right? Right. So Hal tells the story of how he's transported across I don't know how many miles when Abin Sur was near death, to essentially assume the ring. So why if Jon Stewart's next in line for the ring, why is he pulling up in a pickup truck?
Just before anyone embarrasses themselves, that happens in the fucking comics.
Yeah,
Okay? Yeah. Most of the time, the ring chooses when a lantern dies, and it chooses someone worthy who has the ability, not who's a sociopath with no fear, but who has fear and with their willpower can overcome it. That being said, when like Guy Gardner was already like out of commission and Hal was busy covering for him, they gave the ring to John to give like a backup lantern to that.
Yeah, but that was the Guardians who did that, right?
Yeah, well, this is apparently the Guardians that chose him too, which you'll see Laura Linney.
But what I'm saying is that he's dead. If he's supposedly dead, wouldn't the ring now transfer to the new owner? Like, it's gone. It's not on his hand.
And it's Guy Gardner.
Which is the question I'm having as to if he's really dead or not, because
Kyle
Chandler that's the only thing that I had a question about. It's like, okay, what happened at that point?
Okay, Guy Gardner has the ring in 2026. That's why it's not on his finger. Kyle Chandler has a whole interview talking about this.
Oh, okay. So then the ring doesn't transfer in this case. It has to be given to John.
Apparently they're sharing one, which was never a case. So either way, in 2026, the ring's not on his hand because Guy Gardner has it.
They didn't really explain that well, that he's training him to get the ring. How did he even find John to train him? Like, there were these weird time jumps of 96, which was fine. We meet a young Jon Stewart watching an interview with Hal Jordan where he reveals himself. Apparently, he's been Green Lantern for 10 years from 1986, but revealed himself in 96. These weird 10-year time jumps, right? Yeah. So they like to have, like, the opening paragraph of Gunn's Superman is 3 this, 3 that, 300, 3, whatever. Okay, they're being clever, but why that? Why this structure? It's really, really copying True Detective, truly, which takes place in 2 eras.
Yeah, you really have to handle that sort of. I don't really like that sort of flashback, flash forwarding in different points of time and going back to each different point in time. And I feel like if you don't have the sophistication or if you can't write it really well to where we're still really like following the story in a compelling way, or because it's compelling, it just seems cheap that they're withholding purposefully information to manufacture the shock reveal rather than it just occurring, I guess, organically due to good writing. It's just jumping around all over the place so they can manufacture shock when the event itself isn't really, it just plays off as unsatisfying or anticlimactic. And then they have to explain later why it's so significant. I mean, I just watched Shang-Chi for the first time, doing my homework for Doomsday. And it has a very similar structure that I just found incredibly boring and just all over.
That was for Shang-Chi.
It was worse. It was worse than Captain Marvel, but I would say I much prefer watching Shang-Chi than this episode of Lanterns.
Shang-Chi was fun.
It had a good epic fight scene at the end.
I would defend it.
I think if you're not a Green Lantern fan, you'll probably like this show a lot. If you are a Green Lantern fan, a lot of these things are going to be hard to swallow. So obviously the people who, chimed in on Rotten Tomatoes probably aren't the biggest Green Lantern fans, but they probably love like HBO murder dramas. So good for them, right? Good for them. They're getting high scores. They're getting all the things. Personally, am I going to continue to watch it? I'm really on the fence. Like, I'll give it one more episode before I tap out, but I'm just tired of seeing like my heroes be like shit canned and done dirty, man, basically, right? I mean, every hero that we love, they like to take them, deconstruct them, and do something stupid with them. And honestly, I'm just tired of supporting it, and I'm tired of watching the show.